Hey guys, it's Simon. This is Pro Wrestling Unlimited as we are here on the 12th of August 2020 to talk about everything that went down tonight on AEW Dynamite and NXT on the USA Network. Now, as far as both shows do go, there were good things about both and bad things about both. And if I had to say which was better than the other, because I know you guys are going to ask, that's a hard one for me. Because, I kind of never really got into either show. To me, they were just shows that I would rate possibly both at like a 6.5 maybe. Nothing on either show except, let me back it up a little. I will say Cody and Scorpio Sky was a damn good match. There were other good matches on AEW. There were some good matches on NXT. But I guess in that regard, I would say AEW was a little bit better, but not much better. I'll have to go that route. Before we get into it, I want to say thank you guys for joining me here tonight on Twitch, twitch.tv/PWUnlimited. Remember, if you miss any of this live podcast, you can view it later on the PW Unlimited YouTube channel. And remember, if you want to help us out here on twitch.tv/PWUnlimited, you can do that a couple of different ways. You can either donate some bits or you can subscribe. Subscribe by hitting that subscribe button and either giving us a tier 1 subscription or if you already pay that $12 a month for Amazon Prime, well, then you get Twitch Prime. With Twitch Prime, you get one free subscription to any Twitch channel that you want to support throughout the month, and I would greatly appreciate it if you gave us that subscription, if you helped us out here at PW Unlimited. With that, we're going to kick it off, of course, by talking about AEW, as we always do. AEW started off with Young Bucks versus the Dark Order's Evil Uno and Stu Grayson. Matt and Nick were attacked by Uno and Grayson, as well as Alex Reynolds, John Silver, and Alan Angels. Is it Angels or Angles? I want to say it's Angels. I'm going to go with Angels before they even got into the ring. Uno and Grayson went to work on Nick early. Matt hit a swanton off the stage to the floor. Matt got cut off after a German suplex from Uno. Nick made a comeback and hit his trademark springboard facebuster moonsault off the apron combo. Nick was cut off again. Uno and Grayson went for the fatality, but Nick avoided and used a sunset flip on Uno for a flash out of nowhere pin. Just out of nowhere. Match just over. I'm like, ooh. To me, it was good, but right when it was peaking, it ended. So, hey, teach their own, whatever they want to do. Grayson tried to make the save at the end, but he was just that close. That close. But too late. MJF was shown backstage with his entourage. He began making his way to the ring. The announcers previewed the rest of tonight's show, introduced a series of vignettes where current tag teams were talking about their favorite tag teams. Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. Well, actually, Kenny Omega said that his favorite tag team were the Young Bucks. Hangman then said, I would have said us. And Kenny goes, us? We're just two singles guys put together as a tag team. Wouldn't call us an actual tag team. And I'm like, oh, the seeds have been planted. The seeds have been planted. Kenny don't even think they're a real team anyways. I wish they would have gone the route of, and I'll talk about this more later, FTR causing the split of Hangman and Kenny. But I don't know if that's going to happen now. I'll just say what I was going to say here. So I think what they should have done was had Kenny Omega and Hangman Page just defeat every team and say there's no teams left until FTR comes out and goes, no, there's one team left that you haven't faced, us. And, we've seen FTR get buddy-buddy with Hangman. So what I would have liked to see was in the match, FTR versus Hangman and Omega, something happened where, Dax hurts his knee again. And Hangman stops and is like, are you okay? Lets him get to his feet, and Omega go, what are you doing? Why are you showing your opponent sympathy? Then FTR show that, Dax was actually fine. Attack Hangman, knock Kenny off the apron, pin Hangman. Hangman loses the tag titles for he and Kenny. Kenny goes crazy. Cleaner Kenny's back, attacks Hangman afterwards, and that's how the team can implode. But I don't know if that's going to happen now because, we saw that FTR heels, and they made it known they're not on the side of the Elite, as we once thought was their motive. So MJF came to the announce desk with his entourage before the commercial break. MJF cut a promo in the ring from behind his campaign podium. He ripped on Jon Moxley and said, we deserve a better champion. He called Moxley an idiot and said he was scared of MJF and wasn't there tonight after MJF's assault last week, which is weird. Because how is MJF must stay off of Twitter. Because they announced earlier today, we will hear from the AEW World Champion Jon Moxley tonight on Dynamite. So for MJF to say, Moxley, you're not even here tonight, well, he's an idiot. He doesn't know what his own company announces, the company he works for, because we were told that Moxley was there. I think they even said, I'm trying to think about it. I think they even said at the open of the show right after that tag match that we would see Moxley later. So, I don't know. Moxley's music would then hit. MJF sent Wardlow to cut Moxley off if he entered through the crowd. Moxley, though, entered through the tunnel instead, kind of tricking it up. He laid out MJF with punches and nailed him with a paradigm shift. Moxley cut a promo where he said if MJF thought that they were even now, he was mistaken. He promised more punishment to come at All Out. In the back, Alex Marvez, and this was weird and I did not like it and dumb. This is just dumb. He interviewed Matthew Hardy. He said, I'm here with my guest, Matthew Hardy. Still not a fan of this Alex Marvez guy. So Matt's new gimmick is that since being hit in the head last week, Matt can no longer control the versions of personas that he is. We saw this on BTE. He just slips in and out of different Matt Hardy versions. I thought, okay, this is a cute little BTE thing where he slipped into every persona within a 2-minute period. But no, it wasn't just BTE. He did it tonight on fucking national television. Dumb. So, they replayed Sammy busting Matt open with the chair shot from last week. Hardy said that he's alive and won't die. He said he won't be cleared until the next Dynamite in 10 days, which is the next Dynamite Saturday the 22nd. Hardy said that he can't wait to get his hands on Sammy and make him bleed. Hardy said he's not waiting till next Saturday. He's going to get Sammy tonight. Referee Mike Posey walked by, and Matt Hardy attacked him, thinking he was Sammy Guevara. He said, "Oh, Sammy! Sammy!" And he attacked Mike Posey, beat him down. They pulled Matt off like, "Matt, that's not Sammy Guevara. Matt, that's not Sammy." And then, yeah. Dumb. Stupid. Next up, we got the TNT title match. Mike Chioda was the referee. You know, remember Mike Chioda had been a WWE referee for 31 years. He was in WWE before being released on April 15th. So early on in this match, Well, first off, Cody had to come out with just a gaggle of folks. Scorpio comes out by himself, no SCU. So he had faith that he could possibly do it on his own. Cody, nope. Cody says he needs help. Cody says, I can't come out here alone. I need Dustin, I need Brandy, I need Allie, I need QT, I need Arn. I need everybody. When usually he just comes out with Arn, which was weird that he brought them all out here. Cody was like the heel, very, very big early on in this match. Justin Roberts even introduced him as the Prince of Pro Wrestling. You don't call yourself the Prince of Pro Wrestling as a baby face. So, Cody gave a lot to Scorpio Sky in this match. Both took a lot of bumps, even took a number of bumps over the top to the floor. Cody sold his ribs, and Sky sold his back. Cody established the advantage as they got back inside by hitting a power slam. Cody worked over Sky with a bow and arrow. Sky came back with a cutter on the stage and kicked out of a crossroads. Cody then hit a flatliner for a near fall. Finish saw Cody block a springboard cutter and hit a second crossroads on Scorpio Sky to pick up the victory. Fun little match. I really enjoyed this match. But again, it was very obvious that Cody was going to retain the title. Like, who really expected Scorpio Sky to win here? I could see Scorpio Sky as a future TNT champion, but not a right now TNT champion. Mr. Brody Lee appeared on the screen and delivered a strong promo. Lee would then go on to challenge Cody for the TNT Championship on the next episode of Dynamite on Saturday, August 22nd. Private Party was interviewed and stated that their favorite tag team were the Hardy Boys. Next up, in a non-title match, Kenny Omega and Hangman Page defeated Luchasaurus, or took on, well, I guess defeated, but they took on Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. Marco Stunt was at ringside. Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, great as a team. Like, those two mesh together as well as any team we've got in the world right now. Like, they just work perfectly together. This is another really good match. Marco Stunt at one point tried to get on the apron. Kenny Omega didn't want that. Referee tried to get him down, and Kenny slapped him. Not one of the announcers directly brought up Omega attacking Stunt a few weeks ago and acted like Stunt was the one that was out of line here. No. Marco's still mad that Kenny beat him up like 3 weeks ago for no apparent reason. Jungle Boy and Omega began the match. Jungle Boy worked over Kenny through a break. Omega hit Stunt with the Snapdragon to the floor. Jungle Boy tried a tope, but Omega caught him and hit him with a Snapdragon on the floor. Luchasaurus then got the hot tag and hit some kicks. Omega cut him off with a V-trigger. Page tried a buckshot lariat, but Luchasaurus blocked it. Luchasaurus slammed Stunt onto the ring. Yeah, slammed Stunt out of the ring onto Omega. I don't know how that's not a DQ. I mean, a guy that's not in the match getting catapulted onto a guy that is in the match, that should be a disqualification. I know AEW's loose and what's the word I'm looking for? Loosey-goosey. There it is. Loosey-goosey with the rules. Well, 99% of the time, rules don't matter in AEW. What are we watching? ECW? I don't know. Omega hit a tope con grill on Jungle Boy. Page hit a powerbomb with a stack on Jungle Boy for a 2 count. The finish of the match then saw Omega and Page hit the last call. Omega then covered Jungle Boy for the victory. Next up, Santana and Ortiz cut a promo from the locker room. They refused to apologize for trashing Trent's mom's van last week. Instead, they dragged some suitcases of items from the van into the shower and poured bleach on them. So, did best friends not get a dressing room last week? Did you choose the van as their dressing room? I don't know. Next up, we got a weird segment. It was basically praise the Young Bucks. Kiss the Young Bucks' ass because they're the EVPs. The Young Bucks and FTR in the ring. We got Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard, Ricky Morton, and Robert Gibson. Matt Jackson cut a promo and said the Rock and Roll Express were the original Young Bucks, and they set the stage for many teams to come, like the Rockers, the Hardys, and well themselves. Dax Harwood then cut a similar promo, putting over Rock and Roll Express, Arn, and Tully. He said Arn and Tully set the standard that allowed him to provide a life for his wife and his daughter. A wife better than he ever had. Ricky Morton then cut a heck of a promo, and well, kind of put over FTR and really put over the Young Bucks, saying that for the last 15 years, there's been no team better than the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks have brought back tag team wrestling to a standard that they held it at back in the 80s. And I'm like, all right, so we're just kissing the Young Bucks' ass. And then Arn goes on and kisses the Young Bucks' ass, puts over the Young Bucks. Because the Young Bucks are one of the best tag teams right now. Call the Rock and Roll Express a team of the century. He said, but FTR, they're the best team on the planet. Then, Tully spoke the truth. Tully basically said, you're both good teams, but you ain't the best. You ain't the best if you ain't the champion. Neither of you teams have championship gold. So you can't be considered the best. He said, let's just pause patting each other on the back. Tully said that he has a problem with Arn, and he's had one for over a year. You see Shawn Spears start to walk out. He said, what is this? And pointed the Nightmare Family symbol on Arn's vest. Arn took the mic and said, hey, I don't have to take any of this. I'm a grown man. I make my own decisions. He finally noticed that Shawn Spears is out and goes, I see what's happening. I'm out. So he goes to leave. And Ricky Morton then punches Tully in the face. They all get into a shoving match. All of a sudden, Dax Harwood again faked a knee injury, so he didn't have to be in this brawl. Tully, the Young Bucks, Shawn Spears, and Arn all go up on the apron. Rock and Roll Express are yelling from the ring up the apron when they're attacked from behind by FTR. FTR lay out Gibson with Dax's knee brace, and Morton was given a spike pile driver. Here's my question. When a team wants to get at the Young Bucks, why do they always go after the Rock and Roll Express? Santana and Ortiz went after Rock and Roll Express. They wanted the Young Bucks. FTR going after Rock and Roll Express. They want the Young Bucks. Finally, Young Bucks realize what's happening. They run into the ring. Kenny Omega and Hangman run down to the ring. Hangman's looking at FTR like, what the hell, bros? What was that all about kind of a deal? Very shocked Hangman. I thought this ended at a good angle. We now know that FTR are real heels, not heels playing babyface to get in good graces with the Young Bucks. And Omega never saw through it. Or always saw through it, I mean. Omega always saw through it. Young Bucks didn't see through it. Hangman didn't see through it. And now we know these dastardly bastards are heels. Next up, Alex Marvez spoke with referee Mike Chioda before Jericho would interrupt. Jericho said he saved Chioda's job 18 years ago. He said he wants Chioda to call it right down the middle tonight in his match against Orange Cassidy. Wink, wink. Chioda promised to call it right down the middle. Jericho said when he gives Chioda the signal, he needs to call it down the middle, and maybe he'll get Chioda a job here at AEW. We then heard that the Butcher and the Blade, their favorite team, Road Warriors. Next up in a match that really went like 2.5 minutes at best, AEW Women's Champion Hikaru Shida took on and defeated Heather Monroe. Again, women get no love on Dynamite. I mean, not no love, but barely any love. This was Monroe's AEW Dynamite. They had an okay match here, but really nothing can really happen unless in about 2 minutes. Monroe managed to get a few strikes in before getting cut off with a jumping knee strike. Shida then hit a suplex into the buckle. Monroe reversed a Falcon Arrow and got a near fall. Shida used a modified muff stretchler, weird looking muff stretchler. Not only was she with the leg up here, but she also had Monroe's arm all stretched around. Cool looking move. And she tapped out with Hikaru Shida taking the victory. Tony Schiavone then interviewed Shida. He said, All Out's coming out. What do you think about, getting a challenger for the pay-per-view? And she said, I'm ready. Bring it on. He then sent it to Jake Roberts in the back. Jake Roberts was there with Lance Archer, as Lance Archer beat up some jobbers that I don't know if I've ever seen before. Archer then said, You tell him? Did you tell him? Did you tell him? He's like, No, I didn't tell him yet. So he ripped off Jake's shirt to reveal on Jake's back it says, Everybody dies. I don't know where this is leading to, But hey, you got to get Archer on the show, so why not just do something weird? Then we got a rundown for the next week of events. They said next week on the AEW Women's Tag Team Tournament show on Monday night. So I'm glad they gave it some attention because they didn't give it any last week. And I'm going to go look at something real fast. Because everybody in AEW were praising how many views that first episode of the women's tournament got. Over, where was it? Over 560,000 views. Last week's show, this week's show, which was 2 days ago, got 264,000 views. So it's not bad. More than I expected since they didn't promote it last week. But they said that the semifinals will be next week on Monday on the AEW YouTube channel. Then on Tuesday, we'll get AEW Dark. Then, because they're not going to be live on Wednesday because of the NBA on TNT, they still need programming to go up against NXT. So they're going to air the first half of last year's All Out. Now, I get it. NXT being on Wednesdays is all a response to AEW being on Wednesdays. But for all the people that say AEW doesn't care, AEW isn't in a war, they don't care that NXT is on Wednesdays. Bullshit. If they didn't care, they wouldn't be airing half of their biggest pay-per-view from last year on Wednesday on their YouTube channel for free. They're trying to have they still need that counter programming. If they didn't care, as people like to say on Twitter, there would be no need for them to counter program NXT next Wednesday. Just saying. So they've got the first half of All Out. I assume they're going to break it up into maybe 3 parts because the next 3 weeks they're not going to be on Wednesday. So I assume they're going to do part 1, part 2, and part 3 to counter program NXT. And what better way than to say, hey, you can watch one of our biggest pay-per-views, if not the biggest pay-per-view from last year, for free on our YouTube channel at 8/7 Central next Wednesday. Let that sink in for a second. As far as the next Dynamite does come to us on August 22nd. It's a Saturday at 6 p.m. or whenever the NBA game ends. We do know that we will see FTR versus Private Party. Omega and the Young Bucks versus Reynolds, Silver, and Angel. The finals of the AEW Women's Tag Team Tournament will take place on that episode of Dynamite. Hey, bet you can guess who's going to be in the finals. Also, Darby Allin will be in action. Lucha Bros Butcher and the Blade will take on Jurassic Express and the Natural Nightmares. Cody will defend the title against Mr. Brody Lee. And I believe that's all. Yeah, that's all. TNT title match, Cody versus Mr. Brody Lee. That's the final match that was announced for the technically next week, but not next Wednesday's AEW Dynamite. So with that programming shift, next week's Wednesday pay-per-view or Wednesday review will only be NXT. As far as when we're going to review Dynamite, not 100% sure, because Dynamite's going up against NXT TakeOver, and NXT TakeOver will be reviewed on the 22nd, because, I'm going to watch that live, and then going to have to review that show. Not going to be able to watch Dynamite till well after, so I don't know exactly when we're going to get to the Dynamite review for next week. Hopefully we can get to it maybe Sunday morning. We'll have to play it by ear when we'll do the next Dynamite review, though. Then we got the $7,000 obligation match, Orange Cassidy versus Chris Jericho, and I was let down by this match. I expected so much more from this match. So much more. And this match had a shitty finish. I'm going to say it right now. And it was just, I felt like this match was more about Chris Jericho and Mike Chioda than Chris Jericho and Orange Cassidy. Especially at the end. Cassidy beat Jericho around ringside early and nailed him with a dive off the post to the floor. His hands were in his pockets. Jericho cut Cassidy off with a boot and worked him over. Jericho hit a back suplex, a forearm smash, and a springboard dropkick to send Cassidy outside before the commercial break. Jericho hit a delayed vertical suplex for a 2. Cassidy made a comeback. He had a super kick, a clothesline, a high cross off the top, and a pair of dragon screws. Jericho blocked a third dragon screw. He caught Cassidy coming off the ropes and used a Walls of Jericho, but Cassidy slid out and used a small package for a 2. Cassidy then used an ankle lock on the same leg he hit the dragon screw. Cassidy countered out of a suplex and hit a stunner on Jericho. Jericho, though, hit a code breaker for a near fall. Jericho instructed Kyoto to turn his back because Jericho's got his baseball bat Floyd. Kyoto first he told Jericho no. He said, I'm not going to let you do this. Jericho's like, Kyoto, turn around. So he turns around and then immediately turns back around and takes the bat from Jericho. Jericho starts yelling at Mike Chioda and not Kenny Omega. Orange Cassidy fires up. Jericho runs at him and he hits him with a Michinoku driver, even though I think it was JR called it a Falcon Arrow. No, the Michinoku driver. Then the orange punch. Santana and Ortiz ran down. Best Friends ran down. They all started brawling on the stage. Hager then ran in and hit a slam on Cassidy while Kyoto was distracted with the brawl on the stage. Jericho covered Cassidy, but Cassidy kicked out. They traded strikes and Jericho hit a low blow. Cassidy ducked a Judas effect and then used which I've never heard, a mousetrap cradle and pinned Jericho, and this was clunky. This finish was clunky because they barely got this mousetrap in. They had to say that about 12 times. The mousetrap. That was the mousetrap, JR. Barely got this mousetrap in. Then they slowly worked their way down to the mat. Like they didn't want to just take a bump or something. And flash out of nowhere pin by Cassidy. Orange Cassidy beats Jericho. Jericho won the last time. So I assume rubber match it all out. Jericho versus Cassidy again. And if it's anything like this match, I couldn't care less. Because I didn't like this match at all. I was bored. And I felt like the last portion of this match was more about Jericho and Mike Chioda than Jericho and Orange Cassidy, than the brawling on the stage. And again, Jake Hager got to get involved with the referee distracted. Still, how many months have we had Dynamite? And we're still getting the bullshit, way too much interference stuff? Too much. With that was AEW Dynamite. They're going to tape the next episode of Dynamite tomorrow. But then they're not going to be live for they're not going to be live again, I don't think, till, hold on. They may not be actually live again until Wednesday the 2nd. Actually, no, that won't even be a live show. Honestly, I don't think the next live show that will air live will be until All Out. Because they taped tonight. Well, hold on. I'm looking at the calendar wrong. Let's see. They taped tonight's show. They taped next week's show tomorrow. Then they come back and tape 2 more weeks, which was the 26th, and that's actually airing on the 27th. The 2nd will be filmed that same week. So, yeah, I don't think the next live episode of anything for AEW is going to be till, what's it called? August or September 5th for All Out. Hot Rob, they ain't even airing on Wednesday next week. Next Wednesday, there is no Dynamite. We've already talked about that. Next AEW Dynamite does come to us on August 22nd, and that's a Saturday. With that was AEW Dynamite. Next up, we had NXT. NXT on the USA Network. I thought it was a pretty good show as well. The show kicked off with Karrion Kross taking on Danny Burch, or should I say, killing Danny Burch yet again. Also, Vic Joseph was on commentary instead of Tom Phillips. Not really sure what that's all about, but I don't know if that had anything to do with... So, the main roster had to fly in today because they're taping the next Raw and the next SmackDown tomorrow. And with that, I don't know if that meant Tom Phillips barely got in today, but Vic Joseph was already there. I don't know. I don't know how that all worked out. Because I think today's episode of NXT was filmed earlier today as well. But regardless, Vic Joseph was on commentary. And I don't know why you just don't leave Vic Joseph on commentary. Why's Tom Phillips got to do that and Raw? I like Vic Joseph. I like Tom Phillips a little better, but you don't need him on both shows. Danny Burch wasted no time trying to attack. Attack Karrion Kross. He rocked Kross with a drop kick and countered a flurry of offense. Burch then clotheslined Kross out of the ring over the top rope. Kross then grabbed Burch by the throat as he jumped back in and slammed him onto the floor. Kross tossed around Burch for a little while. Burch tried to get a hope spot in, fired up, but Kross, knocked him right out. Burch then somehow countered Kross and slipped in a cross face. Kross powered out and executed a Doomsday Saito. Kross applied the cross jacket sleeper, and Danny Burch passed out. So after this match, NXT champion Keith Lee came down to the ring, confronted Kross and Scarlett. He had a folder in his hand, said this folder had a contract in it. He said, Kross, you blame me for everything that you've done? Well, I went to Regal. I begged to Regal. I said, give me the match. I want the match. Put the title on the line. He said, my name's on this contract. Regal's name's on this contract. All we need is yours. He said, I promised Regal I won't touch him or anything until TakeOver. He then called Karrion Kross a bitch and said, I just need... What did he say? Hold on. I have this. I wrote this wrong. I have a tweet about it. I want to get this right because this is a good little line here by one Keith Lee. Keith Lee called Karrion Kross a little bitch and said that he wanted his punk ass to sign this contract. So he slips the contract over. Scarlett grabs it, walks over to Karrion Kross. They look it over for a second, and Kross signs the contract. Now, I didn't know Scarlett and Karrion Kross can do some voodoo magic. Close up the folder, slide it back in the ring to Keith Lee, and Keith Lee goes to open it to make sure he actually signed it. And as he does, whoof, big old fireball in the champ's face. He takes a big old bump on the mat. He plays it up like he's blinded almost. Karrion Kross and Scarlett laugh before they leave. Officials and EMTs come down to check on them. So I don't know if Karrion Kross has got magic. I don't know if Scarlett's a witch. Or if they both can do some voodoo. But hey, see where it leads to. As long as we don't got Karrion Kross like fireballing it up in their match, then I'm fine with that. So Keith Lee's yelling, I want Kross, give me Kross, I want Kross. And they're trying to check on him. Keith, keep this towel on your eyes are hurt, blah, 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 blah. And then for some weird reason, they're taking Keith Lee to the back, and we get picture-in-picture as Drake Maverick is coming down to the ring. And we continue to get picture-in-picture as Killian Dane comes down to the ring. And we continue to get picture-in-picture for the first 30 seconds or so of this match. So finally we get the picture-in-picture off, because the picture-in-picture was just the guys in the ring, but then Keith Lee in the back with about 5 referees and 2 EMTs trying to check on him as he's walking around yelling, give me Kross, I want Kross. And they're like, Keith. Let the EMT check you out. Let her make sure you're okay. Finally, we get Drake Maverick versus Killian Dane, which was really a nothing match because they were interrupted by Undisputed Era. And for everybody last week that tried saying, Undisputed Era, they're baby faces now. Pat McAfee's the heel. Adam Cole's the baby face. Fuck that. 4-on-1 on Killian Dane? That's called heels, my brother. That's called heels. Attacking a lone man in the ring. So Undisputed Era come down, take out Drake Maverick, then they go 4-on-1 on Killian Dane. The referee called for the match to be over. Adam Cole then cut a promo on Pat McAfee. Cole dared McAfee to show up next week to confront him in the ring face to face. That he ain't taking any of his crap anymore. We then got a hype video hyping up the return of Kushida later on tonight. We then had a non-title match. Cruiserweight champion Santos Escobar taking on Tyler Breeze. Escobar dominated at the outset of this match, pummeling Breeze. Enziguri created some separation from Breeze, though, but Escobar countered Breeze and laid him out again on the floor before a commercial break. Breeze made a comeback after the commercial. Breeze hit a super kick and went for a cover. He did so as Raul Mendoza and Joaquin Wilde ran down to ringside looking to interfere. Breeze knocked them both off the apron, and the distraction allowed Escobar to catch Breeze for the Phantom Driver. Escobar pinned Breeze and won the match. Fandango would then run down and make the save. A one-armed man swinging against three other men. He has some sort of a stick in his hand. El Legado del Fantasma jumped him, and they began a beatdown before Isaiah Swerve Scott would come down. Made the save for a Breezango. He cleaned house of the heels. Swerve cleared the ring and said that he's looking forward to fighting at Santos Escobar. Kind of merged both names together. And I believe that's going to be the match takeover. Santos Escobar defending the NXT Cruiserweight Championship against Isaiah Swerve Scott. Then I got a Dakota Kai hype video talking about her upcoming title match takeover against Io Shirai. Mia Yim then took on Indy Hartwell, and for some reason, Indy Hartwell looked fucking just scared as Mia Yim came down to the ring. Yim was interviewed on her way down to the ring about the condition of her boyfriend Keith Lee. She said Lee suffered no serious damage, but Yim also said that she had to focus on her match here tonight. Yim was not her normal self, as she looked concerned about Keith Lee at the start of this match, and Indy Hartwell looked scared, even though she got the advantage early on. And they kept saying throughout this match, she's worried about Keith Lee, her boyfriend's health is very important to her, blah, blah, blah. So Hartwell gained the advantage early at one point, and then she began to mock Keith Lee, which angered Mia Yim, and she fired up. Hartwell continued, countered a sidewalk slam, and got a 2 off of it. Yim escaped a sleeper with a jawbreaker. Yim would escape a second time, but Indy Hartwell got a near fall on her. Hartwell taunted Yim, and Yim fired up again with a comeback. Yim was able to transition into a submission, and Hartwell tapped out. But with that, Mia Yim does defeat Indy Hartwell. Got a video from Finn Balor. He did a sit-down promo. He vowed to win the North American Championship ladder match at TakeOver. Well, boy, he got to get in the match first. Got a Pat McAfee tweet that confirmed that, yes, he will be on the show next week to confront Adam Cole. Basically said, this shin that I kicked you with is the least of your worries. We got a really, really good match between Bronson Reed and Damian Priest. I loved this. Big, hot slobber knocker fight. Would have been a great match for Jim Ross to call because he loves big man matches. They fought through a commercial break early. Priest sandwiched Reed in the ring steps. He was working over Reed as the show returned from commercial. Reed made a comeback and got a near fall off of it. They fought on, and Priest lifted Reed with a broken arrow, or falcon arrow, but they call it the broken arrow. Reed kicked out and gave Priest a suplex of his own. Then had a double down spot that did lead to the finish. Reed went for a splash off the top rope, and he missed most of it, but had it's just a bad landing. Reed then went for a cradle and covered Priest for the 3. It kind of came out of nowhere. I honestly, when he kind of jacked up the splash, I thought that was okay, he misses the splash. Priest's going to hit him with the move and pin him, but I didn't expect Bronson Reed to just all of a sudden get the win. Kind of cradled him up. We then got a vignette with Io Shirai talking about her challenger, Dakota Kai. Got another video, Cameron Grimes cutting a promo ahead of his match later on tonight. Cameron Grimes is an amazing heel. He's an amazing, piece of shit, annoying, everybody must hate me heel. Basically, he's I think everybody loves me, even though they hate me kind of guy. And he does it very, very well. He's like, "Hooray! Cameron Grimes here." I love it. Cameron Grimes is just perfect in his role. Perfect. I don't know. Trying to think about it. Is there another annoying heel as good at being annoying in wrestling today as Cameron Grimes? I don't think there is. Next up, we got Mercedes Martinez and Aaliyah with Robert Stone taking on Kacy Catanzaro and Caden Carter. Again, Kacy Catanzaro getting beat. I don't know why they don't capitalize on this woman. She would be huge. Great. Dan the Man says MJF. Kind of. But I think, MJF is a great smarmy heel. But I think Cameron Grimes is a better annoying heel. He's more annoying to me than MJF, to be honest. Since Saturday, I wouldn't call MJF an annoying heel in that route because Adam Cole. Because Adam Cole is just a great heel and knows he's great. Cameron Grimes is a guy that sometimes gets lucky, most of the time gets his ass beat, but still thinks he's better than everybody. That's an annoying piece of shit heel. And he does that well. Adam Cole's a heel that's also a great guy as far as in the ring, great wrestler. And MJF kind of the same. I think MJF and Adam Cole are kind of on the same length there as far as heels and stuff. Yeah, they're confident, but they're not annoying at it. MVP, not even close. MVP again. So when I say Cameron Grimes is an annoying piece of shit heel and he does it well, it's because he's a guy that gets beat a lot, but still thinks he's better than everybody. Still thinks he's the man. But when you say MJF, Adam Cole MVP, those are great wrestlers that know they're great and are also heels. So, WWE fan says, Sammy Guevara. Yeah, I guess you could. I didn't think about that one, but yeah. Sammy Guevara's right there on the Cameron Grimes level. I can see that for sure. So before the match, Robert Stone tried to recruit Kacy Catanzaro. And as I was saying before I started talking more Cameron Grimes. Wait. Matt Hardy. Since Saturday, Matt Hardy is not a heel. Matt Hardy is a beloved babyface. Oh, now you guys are just throwing out random ass names. Anyways, Kacy Catanzaro. She would be a mega star, especially with young females. Give her some merch. Give her some wins. Push her. She'd probably sell a good amount of merch. Make sure we know she was one of the first successful women on Ultimate Ninja Warrior. She was the first, big name to come out of that on the women's side of things. Now she's here in WWE. They said that back years ago when she first started with WWE, but now it's just, oh yeah, there's that chick, Kacy Catanzaro. She's athletic. So Robert Stone tried to recruit Catanzaro early. Instead of joining his stable, she kicked him in the shin. Catanzaro and Carter look good as a team. They've teamed a couple times here recently. After a commercial break, Aaliyah and Martinez cut the ring in half for a while. Catanzaro ran wild off of a hot tag, and she got a near fall on Martinez. He was soon cut off though, and Martinez delivered an air raid crash to score the pinfall victory. Rhea Ripley would then run out and stare down Martinez. Aaliyah tried to take out Rhea Ripley, but that didn't happen, and Ripley and Martinez went one-on-one. Ripley rushed into the ring to brawl with Martinez. Ripley got the better of Martinez until Aaliyah jumped back in, double team on Ripley, and then who would make the save? Shotzi Blackheart. The heels fled, and I don't know why they didn't announce this match for next week, because we know it's coming. I mean, it's obvious we're getting Aaliyah and Martinez against Ripley and Blackheart. I mean, it's obvious that's where we're going next week, so why not announce the match tonight for next week's show? Next up, we got a amazing promo, amazing segment from the Gargano-LeRae household. So Gargano set up a ladder in his house, and I guess he was changing a light bulb. Candice said that she had a fairy tale to tell us all. He was reading the story to her dog. She says something about a fairy, a pixie. Everyone thinks the pixie's the bad guy, but the pixie's not the bad guy. I'm not the bad guy, she said. She said the dragon likes to get in the middle of things that is not the dragon's business. The dragon's Tegan Knox. Gargano then goes, what story are you reading? Or what fairy tale are you reading? On the latter, Gargano then talked about how they are going to make NXT a better place. A lot of new people have come to NXT, like Damian Priest and Bronson Reed, two big boys, one obviously bigger than the other. And he then stated that next week he will be taking on Ridge Holland. And when he defeats Ridge Holland, he will end up in the ladder match at TakeOver. Gargano turned out the light, but not before saying good night to a picture on the wall of Doc Hendricks, a.k.a. Michael Hayes. So then we got another Thatch's Catch Can promo, and I'm like, these were good before he got beat by submission. I liked these. I thought they were very good building up his submission wrestling prowess. But when the submission guy gets choked out and defeated by submission after not even being around for like 2 months, him being the submission guy don't even matter anymore. Next up, we have Cameron Grimes, Kushida, and the returning Velveteen Dream in a triple threat match where the winner advances to the ladder match takeover for the North American title. So again, the mystery opponent was Velveteen Dream. The opening portion of the match was a melee involving all three men. Grimes was dispatched after taking a couple crazy bumps. One he took on his shoulder, one he took right on the side of his head. He got thrown around, landed like on a headstand kind of deal. A little weird. That left Kushida to square off with Dream. Dream hit a flying axe handle and got a 2 off of it. He then hit an Oklahoma roll for another 2 and was sent to the outside as Kushida and Grimes squared off in the ring. Kushida flew out of the ring and gave Dream a tornado DDT on the floor. Grimes, a moment later, tripped him up, and it was on the turnbuckle as we got picture-in-picture as the final commercial came. Grimes worked over Kushida during the break. Dream rushed in and rolled up Grimes for a 2. Dream was then again sent out of the ring. Kushida fired up on both opponents after the commercial break. Everybody was knocked down at one point, triple down spot. Dream then fired up with a flurry of shots. He gave Kushida a Dream Valley driver, but Grimes threw him out of the ring before he can go for the cover. Kushida leapt off the top turnbuckle with a flip dive on Dream. Kushida and Grimes did the Spanish fly spot, where Kushida transitioned into an armbar upon impact. Great looking spot. Dream then broke up the hold, and Kushida caught him with a hoverboard lock. Dream escaped and lifted Kushida in a fireman's carry. Kushida countered into an armbar. While Kushida was applying the submission hold, Grimes would rush in and hit the cave-in. Grimes then covered Kushida and scored the pinfall victory, advancing into the ladder match, and I was shocked. I'm like, awesome. Cameron Grimes is getting an opportunity. I expected Velveteen Dream to win this, though, wholeheartedly. I'm like, oh, Dream's the third man? Yeah, he's winning. I was wrong. After the match, Dream attacked Kushida. Dream beat him down and posed as Finn Balor appeared in the ring. We were then alerted that next week, Finn Balor will be taking on Velveteen Dream in a second chance qualifier. Only one man will make their way to NXT TakeOver in the ladder match. Not either Velveteen Dream or Finn Balor. And I'm like, ugh. Finn better not lose. Because I can see them wanting to put Velveteen Dream in this match because he's just returned. But at the same time, I really want to see Finn Balor advance to this match. And this is the other issue I have with Ridge Holland and Johnny Gargano. I want to see Johnny Gargano in the ladder match. But Ridge Holland is the new guy that I don't know if they want to beat in a singles match already. But with that was NXT. NXT on the USA Network. Not a bad show. If I had to rate both shows, thinking about it again, recapping them again, I think I would go 7 for AEW and 6.5 for NXT. So I guess I would say AEW was a little bit better. With that, if you guys want to be part of the show, you can do so by texting in to 510-906-1341. Again, the number is 510-906-1341. As we do have a couple of text messages here. This person states, who do you think will win the NXT title match takeover? Personally, I don't think either man should be losing, but also wouldn't be surprised if Cross wins. Again, I don't know if I said this earlier, but I wholeheartedly agree. As I said on social media, I'm torn. I don't want either guy to lose, but one guy's got to win. I mean, thinking about it, it's too soon to take that title off of Keith Lee. Keith Lee's only had that belt for less than a month, or right around a month. As far as Karrion Kross goes, his first shot at the title, he should be winning it. So I'm torn, and I honestly can't make a prediction. Person here said, I didn't expect Scorpio Sky to win, but I thought the mic was really fun. I think you mean match, and I agree the same. I didn't think he would win, but I knew they'd have a really good match, and they did. And finally, got another text message here, not finally. This person says, with AEW not running next week on Wednesday, do you honestly think that them airing part of All Out will affect the ratings for NXT next week? I don't think it will. Hopefully NXT is up and up significantly with no actual Dynamite. But we'll have to wait and see. Apparently TNT thinks there's a more important NBA game that may hinder. Since Saturday, I know Matt Hardy's been a heel in the past, but I wasn't talking about heels in the past and annoying heels. I'm talking about annoying heels right now, like Cameron Grimes and Sammy Guevara. Of course, Matt Hardy was an annoying heel back in 2004 when he was Matt Hardy V1. But that's not what I was talking about, bro. Another person says, now that most people are in the ladder match, who do you see winning the North American Championship? Damian Priest. Do you think it will be a screwy finish to prolong it? No, it can't be. It can't be. Not with those two. It would just be, no. Your main event cannot have a screwy finish, especially with those two. It needs to have a decisive finish, unfortunately. But with that, guys, I want to say thank you for joining me here tonight to talk about AEW Dynamite and NXT on the USA Network. Again, thank you for coming over here to twitch.tv/PWUnlimited. Thank you for following us here and following us, of course, on YouTube. YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Remember to follow us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Pro Wrestling ULTD. Remember to follow us on Instagram by searching for Pro Wrestling Unlimited. And follow us on Twitter at PWUnlimited. Also, you can follow me on social media. Just follow me at Timmy Buddy on both Twitch and Twitter. So with that, guys, have a great night, and I'll see you next time.